There we go. We're live. Dane Golden is with me today for this episode. This is my first live stream in quite a long time, and I am using StreamYard, which is above Dane Golden over there, giving this a test. And Dane is here. He is an expert. There we go. Dane, thank you. Dane is an expert in helping businesses with YouTube, using YouTube for their businesses. So I am going to invite you to ask questions. We should be able to see your questions come up. And but let's start out with having Dane tell us a little bit about himself. Let's start with a little background on Dane Golden. Now, Dane and I met many years ago at Vid Summit.
Yeah, Vid Summit in Los Angeles.
Yes, exactly. So Dane, take it from there. Actually, take it before there. Give us your background.
Well, you can find an interview I did with Brighton West, or he did with me, on an escalator at that very Vid Summit. And so that was fun. But let's do a two-shot, because you don't need to just focus on me. I think it's fun. It's fun for me to look at you while you're talking, but then you can slide in and out of the two-shot. But basically, we help.
You mean like slide it out like this?
Yeah, that too.
There's my couch.
But basically, we help businesses with their YouTube channels, because we believe that most businesses, now, if you're doing something illegal, don't go on YouTube. But most businesses above the board there should do YouTube. And there's a lot of ways to help your customers. And through helping your customers learn about what your expertise is, they will come to you and rely on you as an expert, as an honest broker. And when it comes time to buy, you will at least be in the mix. If they are a loyal customer, loyal viewer of yours, they can become a loyal customer. So we say at the Video Marketing Business Academy, one of our channels is VidiUp, VidiUp. We encourage you to up your game on YouTube for business and transform your viewers into loyal customers.
Awesome. Thank you, Dane. So it looks like you've already answered my first question, which is what businesses can use YouTube. But let's go directly into the mistakes. I want to know the number one mistake that businesses, when they try to do YouTube, they're like, oh, hey, let's try this YouTube thing. What's the biggest mistake?
Well, I think that the biggest mistake is one of the similar things that you make in business apart from YouTube, is you think too much about yourself and what you do instead of who the customer is and what they want. So if you're a cafe and you're just great at making muffins, but everyone wants scones and no one buys the muffins, are you just going to keep making those muffins and keep saying, look at all these muffins? Maybe you're a scone town and maybe you should sell scones. And really, that's a YouTube as well, because we have, as businesses, we know so much about our field. We know so much about what we do that we think, hey, not only should you have this one tip, you should have these 7 tips. And I make this mistake all the time. So I'm an expert in making this mistake. And even though I advise people not to do it, for instance, just this last week, I made a video that I thought was awesome because it was 8 secret URLs on YouTube that no one will tell you about. How to get a secret playlist of your YouTube shorts. How to put your YouTube channel into an RSS. How to get a secret subscribe link that you can put in your description. No one liked this video because I thought it was awesome. They weren't asking for this video. So think about what people are asking for to watch that you know about. And that's not how much does Brighton charge? What are Brighton services? I don't care. I don't know Brighton yet.
Yes, those are all great points. And yeah, I find that with my clients too. When they first sign up, they want to make videos about themselves. And they're like, this is what's going to help my clients. And sometimes if you're building, website videos, which I help people with, that is what they're looking for, because they've already found you. They're on your website. They want to know what you do and how you can help them. But if they're on YouTube, they want to know, they really just want to know the answer to their question. They don't really, often they don't care who's answering it. They just want to, find that person who has the answer. So
Yeah. And I think we can reasonably assume that people are in different frames of mind when they're in different media consuming areas.
Mhm.
If I'm looking at a newspaper website versus an Instagram versus a TikTok versus your website, I'm in very different frames of mind. For instance, I may love watching Ken Burns documentaries that are 10 hours long, right?
Mhm.
Love it. Amazing. An American hero. He makes incredible historical documentaries. I don't want to see it on TikTok. I don't even want to see it on YouTube, even though somebody could upload it to YouTube. He doesn't even want to show it on YouTube, even though he shows it and it's in a free place. He shows it on the PBS app or the Netflix app, whatever it is. They on YouTube, they just do little clips. So
Yeah.
understand where you are and where your customer is in their journey.
Yes, exactly. And I think the second point on what you had mentioned before about making a video that nobody really wanted to watch because it wasn't what they were looking for. I think this is key here is that what the video you made is very valuable, and they are things that people need to know. And clearly my cat has something to say that
I was
people
like,
need to
I don't
know.
think you have kids in the house, do you? It sounds like a
Nope,
kid.
we've got a little poofy kitty wandering
I'll show
around.
you my
So
dog later. That's the great thing about working from your home office is you get visited by the little creatures.
yes, exactly. He's gonna want to get up in my lap soon. Okay, wait. If you hear him, you got to see him.
All
There
right,
he is.
I'll bring over my dog
He's
soon.
not so good on camera. He doesn't know where to look. Um, but I think the key is to find the point that your customer find the problem that they know they have,
Hmm.
not the problem that you know they have. You know that they need that RSS feed, but they have no idea what an RSS feed is. So they
Yeah.
don't know that there's a secret URL that's going to get them the answer to what they're seeking.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of find out like what is it like how to turn your YouTube video into a podcast or something like that. And maybe that's the answer. I don't know. I don't understand RSS
Right,
feeds.
right. But and you work with a lot of coaches. And
Hmm.
and what a lot of coaches, I think, know, just like a lot of businesses owners know, is that when someone asks a question, and I don't think it's necessarily what thinking about what they need. I'm thinking it's what they want, what they say they want. And what
Right.
they say they want when somebody asks us a question, we know what question number 20 is. They've asked question number one, and we've heard this so many times because we're professionals. We know each of the successive questions in our head, and we want to tell them, oh, you're talking about, you're asking about how to lose belly fat. What you really need to know is question number 30, which is, how can you get more sleep? Let's just say. So,
Hmm.
the same, let's say, with YouTube. When people, first question people want to know about YouTube is how do I get more views, right? But
Hmm.
as YouTube professionals, you and I know that views are actually quite easy if you just have money to pay for views on YouTube. But what the real question, number 20, is how do you get people to watch your videos longer and engage and watch another video? They thought the question was, how to get more views, but what they really want to know is how to get people to watch and engage longer and come back.
Hmm.
But don't answer that last question. That's a strategy question. Answer the first question. Answer the question they're asking, even if it's the wrong question, but answer it in the way you think is most helpful.
Yes. Guiding people towards question number 20, but giving them what they want, but directing them sort of towards what they need. So, and that's actually a good thing. You mentioned, the number of people want more viewers. And this is something I know we've talked about a lot is how much does it matter as a business? Do you want to have million viewer videos,
Yeah.
or is it better to have maybe one viewer?
Well, I tell all of my clients that if you want a million views tomorrow, I can do it for you. Just give me $10,000, and as long as you don't mind that they're teenage gamers in the developing world, we got those views. And then they say, oh, no, wait, I wasn't looking for, just some person. I actually want people who are potentially customers. And then you say, oh, you want actually quality views. You want them to have some sort of potential value to the views, not just a odometer rolling over again and again to show you've driven more miles. So sometimes, depending on the business, just one view, just one person, the right person watching, could mean hundreds of thousands of dollars for your business. It really depends what kind of business you have and what type of customers you're seeking. And then you can figure what type of viewers you're looking for.
Yeah, and I like to use the example, and I bet it doesn't work anymore, but it's an example that I'm sure you're familiar with. It was the Crusher video that they'd like throw a. It was here in Oregon. Both Dane and I are in Portland, but it was where they would throw like a VW into this crushing machine. And it was a great example. It was something probably back when we met about 5 or 6 or 7 years ago of how on YouTube back then, the views mattered a lot. So their strategy at the time was get all the kids watching and it will become a really popular video and it'll make it in front of the right executive who can buy a, multi-million-dollar crushing machine. However, I think now YouTube's gotten a lot smarter. So sending all those kids to your channel, YouTube is going to say like, hey, check this out. These videos are really popular with kids. Never show these to an executive because they're not the right video for them. So now having a smaller audience that is very targeted is a better thing, I think, than having a very large audience with the hope that YouTube will just keep spreading the message.
A lot of times people come and they say, hey, we want a more successful YouTube channel that's going to bring in more business for us. And I tell them part of the strategy is we're going to get you less views because they may have a lot of views about this thing and it's not getting them the leads that they need to drive business. We're actually going to get you less views, but more high quality views. Not always going to get you less views, but we're looking for a specific viewer that has the potential to buy. And what would you think? What would your customers say and your clients say that they're looking for in general? Or you have a variety of clients, so they'd be looking for all sorts of things in a customer?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that is... It is looking for that customer. And I think that's a key thing is identifying who the customer is. I'm coaches. So when I start posting videos specifically for coaches, like that don't have anything to do with video really. I help with coaches with video, but some of my more popular videos with coaches are about the ICF, the International Coaching Federation standards.
Right.
So I'm providing them with what they want. And, I get to be known as that guy that does video really well with coaches. And so it works well.
Right. And you're a business to business. Your clients might be business to business or business to consumer. So the types of videos that you do to bring in your clients and help them may be vastly different than the types of videos that they do to bring in their customers and clients.
Yeah. I think another important thing is to say, like, you can't follow in the footsteps of a successful YouTube channel. You can't say like, oh, Gillette does this thing right now. We should do that thing because we're a brand new razor blade company. And it's like, well, they've had a long history and they built up things. So one of the things I often talk about is like, you got to see people, you have to look at the camera and people need to see your eyes. But, successful YouTuber that always wears sunglasses. I'm forgetting his name. He's in New York, I think.
Casey Neistat.
Casey Neistat. Yeah, exactly. Casey Neistat can get away with wearing sunglasses, dark sunglasses in his videos, but it's not a good idea, even though he's very successful. Not something you can take away. So some things you can take away from other YouTubers. Some things don't work the same for a startup channel as they work for a established one.
Yeah, so when it comes down to, individual style, I think look for something that both works for you and appeals to the customer that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So
The Venn diagram thing.
I actually totally changed my look recently. I just said, you know what? I'm going to have my wardrobe, my costumes for my YouTube videos. I'm going to just have colored shirts and hats. Didn't cost me a lot. Just bought a bunch of different colors hats. I mix and match them. One day I'm red, I'm blue. And I have a very monochromatic screen back here, just a gray screen. And hey, might be interested. If you look at my channel, you can look at the shorts. You can say on the Video Up channel, you can say, oh, look, he's wearing green in that one and blue in that one. And that might be interesting. You can see down below what we're showing here. That's sort of interesting, and doesn't have to be fancy. My mom has a YouTube channel where she helps people do 1031 exchanges, and her look and her style and how she appeals to her clients in real estate totally different than other clients I have. Some would be very, the client and customer you're looking for is not the same as everyone else. For hers, I say, hey mom, you've got to have a different scarf in every video, and that's her thing now. And so I mean, it's a very small thing. She happens to have a lot of scarves, and I'm like, great, so you need to wear a different scarf in every video. So
Yeah.
there's just something to say, oh, that's the guy with the hats, that's the woman with the scarves. Doesn't have to be more complicated than that, but that also says who you're appealing to. I'm appealing to entrepreneurs and businesses that have a flexible lifestyle and casual wardrobe in their work, right? So that seems, now if I was looking to appeal to attorneys, I might wear a suit and tie, or at least suit and tie from waist up, and then
Yeah.
shorts on the bottom. But anyway, so I think that there is something to that people actually want to have some sort of camaraderie, and it's as important to determine who your viewer, your ideal viewer, should be as who they should not be.
Yes. Yeah. And that's actually something I do another channel, the almost retired in Mexico channel, where I
Great
always wear
channel.
a cowboy hat. So yeah, having that branding thing, and the book Primal Branding is something that I think both of us would probably recommend to people who are starting out a YouTube channel, to kind of come up with what are those the 7 aspects. I don't really do it so much here in this channel. I do have like always the button down colorful shirt. So there's some things that stay the same. I do it a lot better over on my new channel. But yeah, Primal Branding, Patrick Hanlon is the author there.
Yeah, great, fantastic book. Don't get the audiobook. The audiobook, for some reason, like I'm a big audiobook listener, didn't like the voiceover for that book. They should really redo it, because sometimes a badly performed book can lessen the value. Just get the print version. But one of the things that I find most important is called the creed. Meaning, what do people believe in? What kind of folk are we, and what we believe in? And that is very similar to what the author Simon Sinek said when he said in his book, start with why, meaning, what do you believe? Because people will gather around other people who believe similar things and want to lift up these ideas. So for instance, we are about helping people up their game on YouTube for business and transforming their viewers into loyal customers. So, well, if you're a video game YouTuber, or you're a beauty YouTuber, or you're a tech reviewer YouTuber, I may not be your best person to watch, right? So there's different types of folks that you would want to join and folks you wouldn't. So for me, I would say people who are either entrepreneurial or are the marketing person in their business. That's somebody who's good for me to be a viewer /
Right.
customer.
Yeah, and I think really digging into the beliefs of what does that person believe in? Um, and it is definitely a struggle for me, especially on my other channel where I'm like, okay, well, this person, and I think also what do they believe in? Who are the people who are? I think he calls them the haters or something like that, the anti your
Yeah.
viewer. Um, about like, you know, on that channel, it's like I don't want to have people who believe that retiring in Florida is the best thing. It's like, no, move to Mexico, or who think that they're going to need to work forever or are afraid of Mexico. Those are the people who are the not my followers,
Mhm.
because I believe that everyone can move to Mexico and have a really awesome quality of life. There are some people who don't believe that, so that's important for for me to project that to my followers.
Or people who are, would it be, what about Europeans?
Yeah,
Would that be a good customer for your videos? I think not, because I think there's a particular flavor of
yeah,
people who are from either Canada or the United States who would want to live in Mexico that
yep.
would be very different from someone in Germany or the UK.
Right. Exactly. Yep. This is a very US and Canada centric channel. So, well, I have a question about YouTube versus all those other social media,
Yeah,
because,
social
there
media.
is Facebook, there's Twitch, and there's Telegram and Instagram and, all those things. So, how does YouTube fit in there?
Well, they're all social video, right? And at its base level, you upload something and someone engages or doesn't in it. But let's sort of think about how you consume them a little differently. YouTube is really what we call a long tail platform. It happens over time. Just like if you invest in stocks, you don't suddenly, unless you're a genius, double your money in a day, right? You invest your money, and over a few years, ideally, your portfolio gets larger. Same with YouTube. You put in videos over time, and it's an asset that ideally keeps growing for you and keeps delivering for you in your portfolio of assets. In the other platforms, Facebook video, TikTok video, Instagram video, LinkedIn video, they're great. We believe in those platforms, but the lifespan of a piece of content or a piece of video is very, very short, unless you turn it into an ad and spend your budget promoting it that way.
Mhm.
So these videos will last, on average, what, a day or two? So you'll see them, and that's great. And you have to keep feeding the beast. YouTube, you still have to feed the beast as well. You have to keep uploading a video or two a week. But what happens is over time is the YouTube algorithm will surface these older videos that fit just the need of someone. So you might, let's say I made a Halloween video, today, even 6 months away from it, may not be the right time. Or we might find that during Halloween or during the month of Halloween, I just created the greatest video, and it may go back 6 months or a year or 2 years to find old videos that are perennial, that continue to deliver evergreen value.
Mhm.
And so that's why we emphasize value and helping your customer learn how to do something that you have an expertise in. So these are, a little bit different platforms, and YouTube takes work. It takes work. It's not turn on the camera, something happens. Although you have YouTube Shorts, but to really grow on YouTube, it takes work. It does.
Yeah. So, what amount of work does it take? I guess would be good to know. Like, if someone's going to be successful on YouTube, a business,
Yeah.
what budget, what amount of time should they really think about spending?
And it depends. It's sort of an a la carte thing, because how many people do you have on your team? Are you doing it just yourself? Do
Mhm.
you have someone to manage the channel, meaning upload and optimize and do thumbnails and things like that? Do you have someone to teach you all the tech? Do you have someone to edit videos, because that's a big deal. It's you turn on the camera, it can be very different. And that's why in the movie world, right, they re-edit and show it to someone else, and then they have a director's cut and a final cut and a studio cut, because editing and packaging and preparing videos, the more work you put in it, the better it is. But in YouTube, I don't really think you need to do too much in editing. There's some specific things I think you need to do, and getting a good editor is one of the most important things. And when I say good editor, I don't mean they were in the movies, they were in TV, they made documentaries, unless that person really has an understanding of what good YouTube editing is.
Mhm.
And it may be very different from their experience in those, high cost platforms, I guess I'll call them, high production platforms. Doesn't mean you can't do high production on YouTube, but the editing and structure of YouTube is different. It's different than TikTok. It's different than what Instagram video should be. It's different than television.
Mhm.
And there's more tools now. If you are inclined to spend the time, there's more tools to help you edit easily and have templates, and depending on what you want. But if you are, all totaled, your entire team put together, either you or someone else, it's unlikely, I think, you'll be able to do the whole thing in less than 8 to 10 hours a week. I don't know how you feel, but that's the sort of the minimum of all the effort of your entire team for a couple of videos a week.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, it is. I think that's a minimum. It does take time. And I mean, really, for growth, you kind of need to be out there at, I think, at least one video a week, if not two, stay steady, a video every couple weeks or something like that. But yeah, it is a platform that takes work. It is not just shooting the video. It is optimizing the video. It is creating that thumbnail. It's kind of like, it's like writing a book. Once you've written the book, it's not over. So there's more to it.
And you may have an editor that's going to spend 6 hours editing. You may have a designer that's going to do the thumbnail, or pay for a service like customthumbnails.com, and they can do thumbnails for you. Or you may use a service like Canva and use templates.
Mhm.
So there's a number of ways to do it. And, what we do is we actually manage channels, do strategy, look for good topics, thumbnails, uploading, timing of the videos. We do that for some businesses that really believe that this is a great way to invest in growing your leads and growing your business over time.
Mhm. So we do have a question here. Then I'm
Oh,
gonna pop
good.
up. Nanobots Reacts asks, "What is the best or only software I should use? Is it Adobe Premiere?"
Well, Nanobot, Nanobots or Nanobot?
Na-
Oh,
Nanobot
Nanobot.
Reacts.
Nanobot Reacts. Good to see you here. It depends on your inclination. So I will tell you, I hate editing. Don't tell anyone. I hate editing. I absolutely hate editing. So for me, what I've tried to do is find the tools where there's a lot of templates, or they've got some shortcuts and things like that. But Adobe Premiere is great if you have the talent to edit. If you have the talent, use Adobe Premiere. Keep doing it. I'm going to use something super, super simple like ScreenFlow or Descript or InVideo. So that's my approach. But I think it really also, the way you edit, it flavors what type of channel you are, and vice versa.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point. I like to use ScreenFlow a lot because it is very quick and easy editing.
Mm-hmm.
But when I want to color correct or something, ScreenFlow is bad at that. So I use Final Cut. But I think also you do have the software for editing, but then I think you also really need a solution for thumbnails, because if you're not doing custom thumbnails, you're not really on YouTube. It's like doing a book without a cover. People aren't going to start watching. So, um, so yeah. And Nanobot now says he needs to update his software. It's kind of up to you, as long as you are editing. I think some editing is important, but yeah, whatever you use. I mean, I know people who are doing it with iMovie. It's whatever is the right level for you to get you a good video.
And I think that for the vast majority of businesses, I think very simple editing is okay. Sometimes you want to have some music. What I don't like is poor sound. I don't like it if they're too far away from the viewer, because this is not television. People are watching these on very small screens. Some people watch YouTube on TV, but the vast majority of people watch it on their phones. And so if you're watching the video stream now, you can see that we're pretty close in. The camera's up in our grill, right? So you feel a connection to people who are closer than further away. We feel more distant further away. So that's one of the things. I like tight editing. I don't want, they call them jump cuts, which means there's almost no gap between sentence A and sentence B. Text on screen, light music to keep people interesting. We want stories that interweave with, I was just talking to Susan and she was asking me about editors too. And let me tell you, Susan has tried a lot of editors. She's tried them all, but she found that Adobe Premiere, you see how I wove in this story. And what I've encouraged people to do is use names, but it doesn't have to be the actual name. So one of the ways of doing that is saying, I have this client, let's call her Susan, and Susan owns a software company that is, people buy online. So it doesn't matter that I'm talking about my client. I haven't disclosed anything that's secret. And you'll never know who Susan is. Susan real name might be Jim, right? But I've given you an image of someone that you're like, I feel like I know Susan, right? I feel like Susan's someone I met, or a friend of someone I heard about Susan. And you can hold the story better in your head when you've identified a name. And we will encourage people to actually sometimes just put a stock footage of a woman doing something, even more, or it might be 3 different images of 3 different women, even though we've said Susan. You don't have to follow the same character through a story as you're doing B-roll. All it has to be is you just have to use a name. And we found this is a very helpful thing. And it might be a made-up example, or it might be a real example. And the customer/viewer doesn't actually need to know. It's not that important, but it is important to say a name and show a face. Could be B-roll.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, just saying, if you were to read a book, a novel, they're not going to say gentleman number 1 or my client or things like that. Everyone always has names, because that's how we relate to people, and being relatable, that's what video gives us.
If they say gentleman number 1, that's a legal case of a unindicted conspirator.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Someone. Yeah. We won't go into that, but yeah, actually we're right around 30 minutes. So I want to kind of wrap up a little bit here, but tell people how they can find you and engage with you if they've got a business and they're like, hey, I could use Dane's help.
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm at Dane Golden, DaneGolden. You can find me on my Vidiup YouTube channel, Vidiup. That's on YouTube. And you know what? If you need to hire a consultant to help manage your business's YouTube channel, you can book a call with me at talktodane.com. Dane.today. Talk2Dane.today.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Dane, and thank you to everyone who's been here watching. And yeah, I will be producing videos on this. Like I mentioned earlier, this is my first live stream in quite a while. My first time trying out StreamYard. So thank you, Dane, and thanks to you who are watching me accidentally switch to the wrong screen and whatnot. But this is how we learn. So I will be doing more of these. And also over on my other channel, Almost Retired in Mexico. And I've got some clients, we'll call her Susan,
Right.
who is wanting to get into more live streaming. So I figured I better do it first. So try out the software so I can share it with others. But thank you all for watching. And I'm sure if you look on the screen here, probably in front of Dane's face, there's some other videos that YouTube thinks are perfect just for you. Talk to you later.
So then there's an end screen or end